Hello, everyone. Hope everyone is doing good. We're in the first week, only one finger, first week of January, already going by, and we're already getting snow warning in my area. I don't know where y'all are, but I'm in Virginia, and we're already getting snow apparently. So if you're in the DMV area, be safe. That's all I can tell you. So this week I've been talking about the color purple, leading up to me talking about both color purples. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to compare slash review both the 1985 version and the new movie musical that came out just a few weeks ago, if I can speak. So the original is an epic coming of age period drama. The film tells the story of a young African American girl named Celie Harris and the brutal experiences she endured, including domestic violence, incest, child sexual abuse, poverty, racism, and sexism. It was released December 18th, 1985, directed by Steven Spielberg, which when I was researching this movie, this was his first non-blockbuster, or like he had been doing summer blockbusters, but this was like a break from that, from what I looked up when I was researching this. The cast is Whoopi Goldberg as Celie Harris Johnson, Desreta Jackson as young Celie Harris Johnson, Danny Glover as Albert Mr. Johnson, Oprah Winfrey as Sophia, Margaret Avery as Suge Avery. Her singing voice was Tata Vega. I did not know that she was not singing, y'all. Oh man, Akosua Basuia as Nettie Harris. Adolph Caesar as old Mr. Johnson, Mr.'s father. William Pug, Willard Pug as Harpo Johnson, Mr.'s son. Howard Starr as young Harpo Johnson. Ray Don Chong as Mary Squeak Agnes. Lawrence Fishburne as Swain. Carl Anderson as Rev Samuel, Adam and Olivia's adoptive father. John Patton Jr. as Preacher, Suge's father. Gran Bush as Randy. Dana Ivy as Miss Millie. Bennett Gulari as Grady. James Tills as Henry Buster Broadnicks. Leonard Jackson as Papa Harris, Celie and Nettie's abusive father. So that's the whole cast for the original. Where can you stream it? If you have a subscription, you can stream it with Max. Still so weird just saying Max instead of HBO Max, which is like, it's still HBO. So I don't know, it's weird to me. I feel like I'm not in the center. There we go. Just a little adjustment. If you want to rent or buy it, you can rent it on Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Vudu, Google Play, Movies and TV, YouTube, and YouTube TV. And I was like, what is the difference? But apparently, YouTube TV is like a live broadcast, like you kept live channels and stuff. That's the difference. So there's that. So that's why you can watch it. The pros, we're going to talk about the pros, and we're going to talk about cons and my overall opinion. My pros, the acting and characters. Everybody acted so well. I was so immersed in the story, especially Whoopi Goldberg. And I saw, this is so random, but I saw that they got nominated for the Oscars for I can't remember if it was 7 to 11, some large amount. It was over 5 at least. And they didn't win anything. That's crazy to me because everybody did such a great job. Everybody was their character. The characters like Mr. that I was supposed to hate, I hated. Characters I was supposed to feel bad for, like Celie, Sophia, everybody was their character. Oh, and Miss Millie, what's her name? Dana Evie. Oh, I hated her. Absolutely. even though the movie's from the 80s. But especially that scene, I know I'm trying not to spoil too much, but there's a scene where Sophia comes back home. She has a lot of traumatic things happen to her. But then she's Miss Millie's maid. And so Miss Millie's like, oh, I'll let you spend the day with your family. But Miss Millie cannot drive. And she's also, which this whole incident is, the whole thing with Miss Millie is that she's racist. But then when the men are trying to help her get her car out because she can't drive, of course she's very racist about it. She's like, all these strange men are trying to attack me and all this stuff. Miss Millie, I know that's not related. She's not a real character, but her and Mister, count your days, bitch. Because both of y'all should have got knifed up. But I know they couldn't do that with Millie because she was white. So, but yeah, everybody played their characters so well, and this is like so random, but I forgot I was supposed to look this up. I don't understand why they have a young Celie, but Nettie is just played by the same person the whole movie. That's just so weird to me, because like Harpo and Celie both have like young kid versions of themselves, but I guess maybe, I don't know if it's, they just liked, what's her name? Akosua? Maybe they just liked her so much, they were like, oh, we don't need to replace you. You could just stay in the part the whole time, I guess. But she was really good, though. So that works out. And, you know, and there were parts of it where, I guess it was just one scene, where, like, you could see that Celie, like, felt empathetic towards Mister, because old Mister, you know, his dad, was, you know, treats him terribly. So it's like, you know. So she has, like, a little glimpse of, like, oh, I can see where it comes from. And then also when Suge comes back, so Suge, she comes back more than once. She comes back the first time, like, when Celie meets Suge and stuff. But then she comes back again. I think it's only 2 times. She comes back again, married. And then, of course, Mr. and Celie both are, like, in love with Suge. So when she comes back married, they're like, they're, like, upset about it, you know. And, you know, Suge, of course, she's like, oh, we can stay here. We're driving to Memphis. And then Celie's like, oh, we're both sick. So, you know. And then her and Mr. like are sniffling to pretend like they're sick. So that's like seeing inside the glimpse of the characters, like how even though Mr. is so terrible, like Celie can have some empathetic moments for him, which I'm like, she better than me, okay? Because like Sophia, I would have been, first of all, I would have been out of there like Sophia, but also, you know, Sophia fought back, so. Which is so random. Because it's the famous line where Oprah Winfrey's character played, Oprah Winfrey played Sophia. And Celie tells Harpo to beat Sophia so that she'll listen to him. But Mr. also told him that too. But I guess Sophia doesn't care because, like, she knows that he's abusive to Celie, probably. But I also feel like that also shows, oh, I was supposed to talk about this and I totally forgot to, like, write this down. So I'm just going to say it off the top of the dome. But it also shows that women can also perpetuate or continue or, I guess, I don't know if encourage is the right word to use, but women can also be complacent in abuse. Like, she tells them, oh, just beat her. But it's like, you know that's not right, and you know that's not what is supposed to happen in a loving marriage. You know what I mean? But then also Celie has been abused sexually and verbally by her father. You know, he's always calling her ugly. He rapes her as a child. She has 2 children with him. So it's like Celie, the only thing she knows is abuse, unfortunately. So then you can also see how that goes. My second pro is the settings. Everything looked like so authentic, so realistic. Like, they really did really good in the settings with the farm, with Celie's childhood home. Did they go to Suge's house at some point? I think in Memphis they do go to Suge's house. I'm trying to think, because I know in the new movie, like I feel like they're in Suge's house, like kind of more than the old one. Um, with the shop, you know, I already talked about Mister's house. Oh, with Sophia and them living on the swamp, and then they turned into a juke joint. Like everything looked so authentic and realistic, and I really like that. And then my third and last pro is the story. Of course, it's very sad. Of course, I mean, Celia's going through all these terrible things, and then Sophia has terrible things happening to her. Suge has her storyline with her pastor dad, and them not getting along because he thinks she's a sinner and all these things. So like they had, of course, all of them had like some sadness to it, but it also like in the end, like, especially when when Celie, Suge, and Squeak, aka Mary Agnes, they all leave. Um, you could see that their lives are changing, and I'm not gonna spoil the ending, even though I'm sure you can, if you know enough about the movie, you probably can guess the ending. And like, Celie getting everything that she wants and deserves, and getting away from Mister, and not having to deal with the abuse anymore, and knowing her worth, and yeah. So the story is really good. Of course, it's based off the book. Oh, I want to talk about the book just briefly. So I'm going to talk about it probably during Black History Month, because I won't get the book until then. It's a very specific cover that I want, so that's why. Even though they say you should not judge a book by a cover, even though I feel like it's more of an expression, but I literally will judge a book by its cover. Like, if the cover is too boring, I'm like, what is this? I don't want this version. You know what I mean? So it's not really like the artwork is just not really like extravagant, but it just looks nice to me. It's like gold with like purple writing for the color purple on top of it. Like, you'll see it, but I thought it looked nice, so that's why I wanted that version instead of the other version that they had. I could have got faster. So I will not be reviewing the book next week because I won't have it like I did with Kindred, which I need to get better at actually reading books before I go see the movie or movies now. But yeah, so that's like a little something. So I'm going to talk about my cons now. A lot of critics talked about it was overly sentimental, which I feel like it kind of was. Like, it was kind of, but then I also feel like at the end, it's a really feel good moment. It's like a moment that you're really waiting for, the whole movie. So I understand that there are some things that are like just overly sentimental, which I don't know if this is really a spoiler, but when they were going to Memphis, Celie imagines that this little girl is Nettie and that she's giving her candy, like, because she throws candy from the train because the little girl's falling on the train. And I felt like that was kind of, I did feel like that was a little cheesy, but it was a nice moment. I don't know if it was necessary, but I'm not of course, it was in the 80s. I wasn't born yet, and I'm not Steven Spielberg, so maybe he thought it was significant. But yeah, I mean, it does have some cheese, but at the end, I feel like that sentimental, that big moment, was worth it. It was, very emotionally charged, and a moment that we all have been waiting for the whole movie. So for that, I didn't think it was too overly sentimental at the end, but some things in between, I was like, okay, this is a little cheesy. And my last con is Celie and Suge's relationship, and I know that Steven Spielberg, it was the 80s, He said he kind of shied away from it, but he wished that he hadn't, because I was like reading up on it when I was researching for the movie to make this video. So that's something that he does say that he regrets. But yeah, I wish that, I know the 80s might have been different, but I kind of wish, we stuck to the book a little bit more, give us a little bit. I feel like it was very implied, like her and Suge's relationship. Like, they kissed in the movie and they touched each other's shoulders, but it's pretty much implied, but not too implied, you know what I mean? I feel like it was more implied in the new one, but not as much in this version. So what's my overall opinion? This is a Black movie classic. Yeah, I mean, it's a hard watch. It's sad a lot of the time. I think it definitely teaches that despite your circumstances and the hand you were dealt, you can still get what you deserve, which I feel like is the ultimate message, even though you have to go through very terrible things. I feel like, of course, oh yes, it was sad, and in the end, Celia gets what she desires most. I think everyone embodies their characters so well and really brings the story to life. The settings were realistic and authentic. I would give this movie a 9 out of 10, just because the depth of Sheely and Suge's relationship wasn't explored enough. But we'll get into that. But yeah, I already got into that a little bit. All right, now for The Other Color Purple that just came out. It's a coming-of-age musical period drama, so this one's a musical. The synopsis is a story of the lifelong struggles of an African-American woman living in the South during the early 1900s. It came out last year. I was about to say this year, 2024, December 25th, 2023 of last year, directed by Blitz Kazawule. Buzawule. I know I did not say that right. So let's get into the cast. Fantasia Barrino as Celie Harris Johnson. Felicia Pearl Mapasi as young Celie. Taraji P. Henson as Suge. Danielle Brooks as Sophia. Colin Domingo as Albert Mr. Johnson. Corey Hawkins as Harpo Johnson. Which I just want to say something really random. Colin Domingo, he always playing some weird characters. Like even in Candyman, I think he was in Candyman, the newest one. He was a weird character in there. Her as Mary Agnes / Squeak, which I know people have talked about this so many times, but we always make fun of people for not knowing who Superman is because he wears glasses, and then for Superman he doesn't wear glasses. Until I started looking at her, and I did not recognize her until like the third time I saw her. Did I recognize her? I was like, ah. So we owe those comic book people an apology because yeah, I do not recognize her sometimes without the glasses. Haley Bailey is Nettie Harris, Sierra's older Nettie, and this is gonna sound so weird, but Sierra does not have a appropriate face for the 1900s. Like she doesn't look like she belongs in the 1900s. And I talked to my friend about this because she's in like theater and acting things. And she said, yeah, you could be not cast because you don't fit the time period that they're trying to portray. And yeah, she did not look like she belonged in that time period. But she did a good job acting, so it wasn't like she was bad or anything. I'm about to butcher this name. Owan New Ellis Taylor as Mama. John Baptiste as Grady. Louis Gossett Jr. as old Mr. Johnson. David Allen Greer as Reverend Samuel Avery. Dion Cole as Alfonso. Timmy Mann as First Lady. Elizabeth Marvel as Miss Millie. Stephen Hill as Henry Buster Brodnicks. And then they have a cameo by Whoopi Goldberg as she's the midwife who helps Celie give birth. And as you know, she also played Celie in the original. Oprah also has a cameo. And I do not remember what it was, but it was nice seeing her though. Where can you stream it? You can't. It's in theaters right now. My pros, once again, the acting. Everybody who you were supposed to love, you loved. And once again, Mr. and Mrs. Millie. Count your days, bitch. They did a great job. Now I know Mr. He was really good. He was really like, I wanted to cut you up. Now I'm trying to remember Miss Millie. They did cut some things, but it also, I think the musical has different things as well. So I don't think I don't remember having the car scene as like, they had in the original movie. But Miss Millie, yeah. But everybody, and Fantasia did a great job. Oh my goodness. Wow. And she could sing, so. Yeah. So she tore that part apart. She did great. Also, Taraji P. Henson did great as Suge. Danielle Brooks as Sophia. And in her, even though I'm going to talk about that in my comments, we didn't really see her much, but I feel like also Squeak in the original movie didn't really have that much going on, but it's her, so we're going to get it out in the comments. But everybody did a great job, honestly. and their dad, Celie and Nettie's dad, also wanted him. So everybody did a great job. The music. So I've seen. My friend produced a musical version of The Color Purple, so I've seen like a stage version, and they did a great job. My friend did, she did mention some key changes that they did. Like some songs were more upbeat than in this like stage version, which is interesting because I would not have known the difference. Like when Sugar Avery Comes to Town, that song, she said it's a little slower paced, but in the musical movie is like more upbeat. But I think everybody did a great job. It was great. Everybody was singing. Everybody was hitting the notes that needed to be hit. They was dancing the dances. They was doing it all. They was doing a great job. Okay, once again, the settings were all great. And I love this beach that they were on. It had like these giant branches and it looked really like magical almost. But apparently it's like a real place. It looked really nice. And this is gonna be slightly spoiler. So they have like this scene where everybody's like at a table. At the end, it's like a big circle, and it kind of reminded me of Lemonade, and like with the trees and stuff. Like when at the end, like it wasn't the end of Lemonade, but in parts of Lemonade, they like there are women sitting in a tree, and the camera's going through. It reminded me of that. My last pro, which I talked about with Suge a little bit, was the wardrobe, and especially the scene when Miss Celie opens her pants store because they have a whole dance number for it. They look so good. Like Miss Celie, she was whipping them pants up. They was looking good. So yeah, that was that wardrobe in this whole movie was really good. I plan on getting this on DVD, so it's gonna be nice to rewatch it and see all the wonderful outfits and everything. So let's get to our cons. So number one, which I feel like is kind of a crucial thing for the movie, but Nettie like getting kicked out, it was so short. Like I don't think it was that long in the original, but it was kind of like just like a flash. But I feel like that's like a significant moment. So like maybe give us like a couple of minutes. You gave us like a minute. I felt like it was like watching a TikTok. You know what I mean? So she was just there, and then boom, she was gone. So I felt like there wasn't that much build up to it. Oh, also and I don't know if it's in the stage play. I don't think it's in the stage play either, but they don't have the part where Nettie's learning how to read. I mean, not Nettie, where Celie is learning how to read and Nettie's like putting all the things to show her how to pronounce them, like book, sky. Like she didn't have that. So we didn't really have too much of the interaction with them like that way. And one thing that I feel like is really highlighted in both movies, but I feel like especially the original movie, is how young Nettie and Celie are. And they're getting Celie got married. And Celie's getting married and taking care of kids who she's probably not even that much older than. I can't remember their ages if they said them, but when you look at especially scenes in the original where Celie is combing the daughter's hair and Mr. hits her because she talks back to him, they don't look like that much. Like maybe the daughter's like 4 or 5, and Nettie's probably like 12 or 13. And it's just crazy that you're getting married to a grown man. Oh. But yeah, that also reminds me of like in both movies when, Nettie's just trying to go to school. And she's still in school, which I mean is probably middle school or high school. That's just crazy to me. That's my second con. She was not used enough. And I know she could sing. She sang a little bit, but I wanted more from her. Even though I know her character's part is not that big, but I don't know, they needed to give her something extra. I don't know what they needed to do, but they need to do it. And then my last con is, of course, Celie and Suge's relationship, especially now. I mean, you could have them. I mean, I guess they had more implication, like they woke up together in bed. But I wanted something extra. Maybe a little cuddle session. Maybe some hands somewhere. Like, I really wanted to go there. But I also don't remember how it was addressed in the in the stage play either. Because I saw it sometime last year, but I don't remember how they addressed it in the stage play. So that could have been just what they were following. But yeah, I feel like right now they could have definitely went further. My overall opinion, I really love this movie so much. I already talked about I'm going to get it on DVD. I really love that everyone embodied their characters like the original cast did. And they were cameos by Oprah, and I think Oprah was maybe a male person or something. I can't remember. Oprah and Whoopi Goldberg. Yeah, I love that they had cameos. I love those moments, and I think everyone did a great job singing. Although her could have had more singing parts, and I would love to hear her sing more. Sorry to talk about that. And once again, talking about Sugar's relationship, which would explore more like in the book, but it seems like they followed the original movie more closely than the book, even though, they're two different mediums, because one's a musical and one's not. And I would give this movie an 8 out of 10, and I highly recommend you go and see it in the theaters. I really do. And I always love musicals, so I'm a little biased, I guess. So I want to talk about 2 lines from the original movie that was not in the movie musical. So I'm going to analyze them. So, one is, "You better bust Mister's head open and think of heaven later." I'm pretty sure that's a direct quote, but it might be a paraphrase. And then, "You Shoal is ugly." I try to spell Shoal as I could how Suge says it. And I saw a tweet about how someone thought these were crucial lines left out of the new movie. And I feel like I don't think the first line, in my opinion, is as crucial as Suge calling Celie ugly. We know Celie does stand up for herself after Sophia says that line. Eventually, like later. Like when she decides to leave Mr. I think it would have been better to include Suge calling Celie ugly, because then it could have been a better connection later on, like in the original film. Because, after she says, "Oh, you call me beautiful, but you call me ugly so many times." And she's like, I think Suge was like, "Well, I was sick. I was, not in her right mind," basically. I think that's what she was saying. But she does think that Celie is beautiful. And I don't mind that Suge isn't insulting to Celie, and that they start off good, though. So I don't mind that. I feel like I get why it should be there, but I also don't mind that Suge was not mean to her. I think it's interesting what people missed in this movie that wasn't included. I think some additions from the musical script that wasn't in the original movie were funny, though. Like Mr. asking, can he still have sex with Celie after she leaves, and she's like, "No, sir, not after all you did," shaking my head. Like when he goes to her shop, to talk to her, or, I don't know if he's trying to mend things. Yeah, he's just trying to mend things. But, he goes to the shop and he gets her pants. He buys some pants that nobody else wants. It's kind of a spoiler. But then he's like, "Hey, maybe sometime we could." And she's like, absolutely not. She doesn't say it like that. She says, we just friends. That's what basically she says. We're just going to be friends. And I think one thing that remakes get wrong is just doing like a shot-for-shot remaking the source material. But I think this remake adds more because it's a musical, So you have some music to fill in some of the otherwise shot-for-shot scenes. And then we have Miss Celie's Pants Number, which is a really fun song. I love that song. So I think having them be different types of film genres helped this new one stand out instead of just being a re-recorded version, basically. You know how some remakes are just shot for shot. Or like even TV shows, like if they come from, for example, like with the Skins reboot from the UK to America, it was just shot for shot, the first pilot episode. So I like that it wasn't just a shot for shot, and they had like, they had the music, they had different things than they had before. One thing that I don't remember happening in the new movie, which is like just so random, when Suge is singing to Celie the song Miss Celie's Blues, and then people were looking down at Celie when she first came into the juke joint, and then when she gets her song sang, she sticks out her tongue in the original movie, and I thought that was just so funny. I can't remember if it's in the new one, but Yeah, I highly recommend watching the new one. I really loved it. Like I said, I might be a little biased because I love musicals, but I think this was a good, you know, reimagining. I thought it was done really well. I thought it looked really great. So yeah, so I highly recommend it. I recommend watching the original as well. Everybody did a great job. It's a classic. So yeah, have you seen either one of these Color Purple? Have you seen both? Do you have a preference for one over the other? Do you think that these lines needed to be in the movie, or you were like, it was okay without those lines? Let me know if you want. Please like, subscribe, share the video if you like, and I will see you all next week.